Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome to Jibber. I am your host, as always, Skajarmas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. With me today, we have a relatively wide assortment of people. We have Hades, who's just kind of here.
Hi.
Standing in the background, staring into your soul, is Paladin.
Hello.
Kind of glaring disdainfully at him is Starfish, Soviet Starfish.
The motherland has not paid me again this week.
It's a shame. Next, we have Blank Page, who is kind of staring at us from a distance with a great deal of fascination and curiosity.
Waist deep in the history of daylight savings, let me tell you.
Yep, that was the thing we were talking about. And then, watching us with manic glee at our rampant stupidity is Tom117Z, who also happens to be the author of the Change series and co-author on many ADC verse stories, and generally just kind of a nice guy.
I just figured out the reason I came late for Fallout 76 today was also because of daylight savings.
Yep. We might be having Darkness joining us later, but because of aforementioned daylight savings thing, he's presently absent. So he might be joining us partway through. He might not. Just keep your pants on. I'm gonna set myself to
So much confusion.
so
much
Yes.
confusion and delay.
So
A useless system.
supremely. So I managed to come up with a few topics for us to go through today, one of which we might not be able to do if Darkness doesn't show up at a reasonable time, but we'll go through this one at a time. So the first topic is one that hopefully we can all contribute something to. I listed it as personal favorite Halloween stories. Now, this doesn't mean like fictional stories. This is like shit that actually happened to us during Halloween time for each of us, and that stuck with us, that we found particularly memorable. And I'll just kind of work my way across the screen from left to right.
Does it have to be during Halloween, or?
I mean, Halloween is less than a week away, and we won't be doing another Jibber Jabber until after. So, yeah, call this our Halloween episode.
I mean,
on Tuesday, so-
the story, does it have to be on Halloween, or does it just have to be
in
startling?
in the same general area, in the same general ballpark, like around Halloween time, not necessarily on the day itself, but around that general ballpark when the hype for Halloween is rising. Like, it has to be Halloween related in some way.
All right, I've got nothing then.
Well, the one I've got is actually from last year. Okay, so my costume last year was like a prototype version of my costume this year. And my costume this year is like a full dark black cloth outfit, kind of ragged looking in spots, kind of ratty, it's old, with my face obscured by black cloth and a dark cloak and cape over my head, a hood over my head, and a bird skull mask over my face. And as that's over the black thing covering my head, you can't see my face, you just see the skull staring at you from the darkness, and the rest of my body's covered in pitch black. But last year, I didn't have all of that. I had a black shirt, blue jeans, black shoes, and one of the cloaks. And that was it. But I still made do. After we ran out of candy, which happened very quickly because that was our first Halloween in a very active area. We got a lot of trick-or-treater traffic through here. At that point, excuse me. So after we ran out of candy, I went ahead and pulled on my costume all the way, which mainly involved, tucking the hood of the cloak through the string that holds it around my neck so that my entire face was just shrouded in darkness. Then I went outside, leaned against the mailbox, and wrapped myself up in my cloak so you couldn't see my arms or my shirt and not most of my pants. And then I just stood completely and utterly still. I was expecting to just stare at people as they walked by and have them be mildly creeped out by the movement, and that was what happened at first. But then something concerning happened.
Oh, God.
People started to think I was a fake decoration. The amount of people who thought I was just a decoration is startling. I was just standing there, and I remember a group of high schoolers were walking by, and while high schoolers have a tendency of being dumb, if nothing else, I generally understand them as also being kind of skeptical of a lot of things. But these guys, one of them, they just kind of stopped and looked at me for a second, and one of them was like, "Is that a person?" And then the guy in front was like, "Nah, no way, it's just a decoration." And then he reached out and grabbed my head, as if to prove it. He felt my hair under the cloak, and I could see the horror dawning on his face at about the same time that I decided to let him have it and jump scared him with a really loud shriek. He was startled, and it was funny.
Lol.
Oh, you coming all in with those jump scares.
The idea is that if someone stops to look at me, I let them have it. Otherwise, I just silently watch them. And I don't jump scare little kids. I only stare.
Aww.
I don't jump scare them no matter what.
This was just an exception.
I mean, there are plenty of, teenagers and the like and kids who are, old enough to take it who did get the jump scare. There was one person who was like walking by who wanted to see if I was real and thumped their candy bag against my leg, and so then I jump scared them in retaliation. Like, it is worrying. It is genuinely worrying to me how many people thought that I was not real. Could they not see the blue jeans? Ironically enough, it was.
You'd be surprised what people can do with a mannequin, Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but still. Ironically enough, it was actually a little kid who barely came halfway up my calves who deduced pretty much immediately that I was a person because he could see the ends of my blue jeans. This kid was observant and smart, and I hope he goes on to do amazing things. I complimented him on that. I was like, "You're a clever kid." If I had more candy, I would have given him an extra piece just for that, because intelligence should be rewarded. But I didn't. I was completely out of candy, which is why I was leaning against the mailbox. But all the same, it's just worrying to me how many people thought I was fake. It wasn't even the most ideal place to put a decoration. I was leaning very uncomfortably against a mailbox. Usually you would put your human-like decorations in chairs next to a door. Or just in a chair where it's easy to pose and doesn't stand the risk of falling over. I just don't understand.
I mean, you took the mannequin challenge to a whole level. Kind of worked.
Oh my goodness.
I guess I did something. I don't know. All I really know for sure is that a lot of people thought I was fake, and I thought it was funny. So that's my story. Hades, do you have one?
Oh, yes.
Oh boy.
All right. So this was quite a while ago. I was 13 years old. I had 3 older cousins. Both were in their probably early 20s at this point.
You don't have them anymore? Did they die?
Well,
Were they killed this Halloween? Is that what the story is? I'm sorry.
Let's not get into that.
Okay.
But yeah, these guys, ever since I was a wee little lad, have always loved to pick and torture me. Pick on me and torture me, beg your pardon. And so this one Halloween, it was the day before Halloween. We were going to do the whole trick-or-treating thing the next night. So they decided to have a little bit of extra fun with me.
Oh, God.
There was, on my grandmother's place, she had an old house that she used to live in before we built her new one. And it was a little off the beaten path and honestly a bit creepy. Oh, there's darkness.
Hey, daylight savings, darkness, the clocks went back.
Mm-hmm.
Darkness, hello, welcome. Just to get Darkness caught up on what the current topic is. Just so you know what the current topic is, Darkness, we're talking about our personal favorite Halloween stories, and what that means is stories that we have of times around Halloween from each of our perspectives. I've already told one, and Hades is doing his. I'll let him get back to it.
Yes.
Awesome.
But, yeah, so back to what I was saying. My cousins decided to have a bit of fun with me, and we went to this old house that my grandmother used to live in. is honestly a bit creepy and run down, but not anything like too dangerous, like we're worried about it falling on us or anything. So they all took me down there and says, okay, if you can spend 2 hours in this house with us without running away scared, we will give you all the candy that you want come tomorrow.
Ooh.
So being the naive little lad that I was, I went in and said, all right, let's do this. These guys tried so hard to scare me out of there. It was adorable because, like, one tried to, like, do the whole fake snake thing around the corner. And as much as I hate snakes, I could tell immediately that this one wasn't real. And I just kind of looked at him with a blank. I just kind of looked at them all as like, really, guys? This is the best you can do? And it kept going for like the first hour. They kept having all these little like doodads and traps that they tried to lure me in. One kind of made me jump a little bit because they had rigged. They honestly did a lot of preparation with this. I was really proud of them. They rigged a deal with a string that I didn't see, and when I stepped on it, it fell, made a bunch of tin cans fall off a table, and make me think that something was there, and it just moved really quickly. It's like, okay, that made me jump a little bit. I give you guys kudos for that. After So it's about 30 minutes left in the 2 hours. They're all kind of getting a little upset because I still haven't ran. And this is where shit gets weird. Okay, now just to make a little deal here, I'm not sure if any of you really believe in the supernatural or any kind of ghost things. I do. So if you don't believe this, it's fine. If you just think I'm making this shit up, that's fine. So what happened at this point is that it's getting, let's see, it's been really dark. The moon's kind of going in and out between the clouds, and it was really the typical Halloween setting. And they ran out of stuff, really, because they expected me, honestly, to run within the first hour. So we got to the top floor, and they didn't have anything really up there, and we just started looking around. We found some old pictures and just kind of some old crap. We had a freaking raccoon jump out at us at one point from a closet. That made them jump, and that kind of gave me a little chuckle. But after that, it was weird because we had started to feel a draft in the house. And what was weird about it is we hadn't noticed it earlier, and all the windows and the door was closed. It was honestly really freaky at this point. Then one of them started to say that they were seeing shadows. And honestly, when I heard that, I figured they were just screwing with me. Then I start looking to where he's pointing, and I actually did see a shadow go around the corner. It's like, okay, we got somebody else messing with us. So we start head down the stairs, and it gets even weirder because I swore as I was walking down these stairs, I swear that I heard a little girl laugh. It's like the really quiet kind of laugh, but it still reverberates.
Do you have any idea how cliche that sounds?
I know it sounds.
I would have bounced the mute the moment I
Shut
heard
up, Hades. You're making me uncomfortable with this.
Tell me you like turned tail and left, like the moment you heard that.
I did not turn tail and leave. I kind of looked over my shoulder, and there was nothing. And honestly, it just got real quiet between all of us then, because I don't know if they had heard it. They won't talk about it. And as much as cliche, I know it sounds cliche, Tom, but that's exactly what I heard. So we all start kind of moving a little faster down the stairs to the door, and we seriously go out the door, and we start down the beaten path again. And
Oh God.
it just, I could hear creaking from the house.
I mean,
And
old house, yeah, shit creaks.
I know, but I hadn't heard it creak all night.
That might have been because you're with a bunch of other people and were paying attention to them trying their hardest and failing to scare the bejesus out of you.
Yeah, it sounds like all to me. It sounds. I'm open to the idea of ghosts and shit, but to me, what it sounds like is all night you were concentrating on them trying to scare you, and then when they ran out and you were just like chilling after that,
Your
then
imagine,
your imagination's
got caught
run
up.
wild.
And
I don't know what it was, but
You started focusing on the house rather than the people.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what it was. That they won't talk about it anymore, and
well, yeah, it's embarrassing.
it's embarrassing, and yet I still feel like they were shaken a little bit because they wouldn't admit that they heard the little girl laugh, but every time I brought it up, it just kind of get their look in the eyes like, I don't want to remember this.
So is the house still there?
It's probably just that
you're
they,
freaking them out.
yeah, it's good that they tried to scare you and you turned the tables on them by becoming paranoid about ghosts and shit.
I don't.
Yeah. Someone tried to scare me countless times, but failed epically.
Was this Ben?
No, but let's just say Ben's terrified of me for many good reasons.
Well, you'll have plenty of chances to talk about that later.
Yeah,
That's a topic of its
I
own.
just looked at the topic, so I guess so.
But yes, that is my story, whether you all believe it or not.
All right.
Nice.
I'm open to the idea, but I think you were just paranoid.
Yeah.
Eh.
All right. Patrick Star. I'm sorry,
Alright,
Soviet Starfish. Your turn.
Listen here, you little fucker.
Nope, I ain't
that
listening
one,
to
yeah.
shit.
Anyways, I Halloween memory, and it's not really a spooky story, but it's more of, and I'll keep this brief because there isn't much story to it. I just remember one year, I have an older brother, and he's 9 months older than I am. And he went one year as a tax collector from the IRS.
Oh God.
Nobody gave him candy.
Oh my goodness, serious.
And everyone
The
gave me
IRS.
candy. So I had to share my candy.
Oh,
I felt bad for my brother that year.
You had to
Oh,
pay
bugger.
candy taxes.
the IRS, the one thing the Joker is afraid of. I'll cross Batman all day, but the IRS? No.
No.
That was a good impression.
Thank you for that, Tom.
You're welcome. Is that the extent of the story, Soviet?
Yes, that is the extent of my story.
Man, a lot of cyber voice from my end.
Paladin apparently doesn't have one, so
No,
I
I
mean,
usually get
Paladin-
compliments on my costume when I used to do it.
I mean, Paladin, do you have like a really, I don't know, creepy story to tell?
doesn't have to be creepy.
I
Could
do
also
not.
could also just be funny, just weird, funny shit that happened in or around Halloween for any number of reasons.
Well, I got one.
I cannot remember any of my Halloweens, barely. So.
Aw, come on.
Well, then we'll move on to darkness.
All right,
Okay.
Darkness, our old
That-
friend.
Doesn't have to be a Ben story. Doesn't not
Some
have to be a
It's not a
Ben
Ben.
story here, so.
It's not exactly a Ben one. There was actually one I was going to say that's not a Ben one.
Good,
But it's hilarious.
good, because we talk about Ben later.
Yes. Don't worry. I just remember the one where I told a group and they loved the story, so I might as well tell it to this group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. But before you do that, I just want to say the fact that you can provide visual, you actually can sometimes provide photographs of the shit Ben has done.
Well, he provided one photograph of a freaking motorbike that was on fire, or had been on
apart-
fire.
Yeah, part of me wished I took a...
Just the fact
Sorry,
the fact that you can provide any visual evidence for any of the crap this guy does is astonishing, because it means this guy exists. And
If
that's
you had a guy that drove through
Unfortunately,
college with a moped and then set on fire, you would take a picture of that.
Like I said before, I got quite a massive
What you
break from inventing it. Sorry to say. But at least he didn't go there on the actual day because he spent a week in Germany because he got the
You keep cutting out.
Am I?
Yeah, you're cutting out a lot.
Oh,
I thought it was just me.
No, he's just straight up cutting out a lot. I don't know.
Oh, please say that ain't through the downloading. But it's 25 minutes to go. God damn it.
I don't know.
I mean, if you want to delay 5 minutes, I could just say something. Away.
Sure. That okay with you, Darkness? Wait 5 minutes, let Tom go first?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
All right.
Just to give you good internet, I'll tell you my shitty thing first. Because it's not really a story per se, because my Halloweens were pretty generic as they went. I don't really do much anymore. Last year, I put on a costume, went to see a horror movie in cinemas. This year, I don't have a costume. I might get masked tomorrow, but I'm not sure. I'm just going out to a party tomorrow night, actually, with a lot of flat building.
Can we expect you to come back drunk?
No, because the next day after I need to be up at 8 a.m. for classes, so...
Damn.
Okay.
The university life, you have to balance it.
And yet he still finds time to record
Oh, don't I
himself
know
when
it.
he's drunk.
To be fair, I don't even remember doing that.
That's the beauty of it. He does it subconsciously.
It was such a bad recording as well. I didn't do any of it right.
I noticed. It gave
was-
me eye sickness.
I still uploaded it though, because fuck it.
Why not?
Yeah. So, Halloween's before that, I stopped doing the whole trick-or-treat thing years ago, but back when I did, it was pretty generic as they went. The only notable thing, when I was still in my single digits, living... Oh, was it in Norwich or Ditchingham? Either when I was living in Norwich, which is my city of birth, or Ditchingham, which is a village not too far where I live at home now, nowhere near my uni flat though. I had this severed bottom half of an arm that would, when you turn it on, crawl across the... It was pretty good looking. Every Halloween would always use it. I try and freak trick-or-treaters out by having it crawl towards the door first. The funny thing, whenever I had it out, I was kind of okay with it, because I was in my single digits. Whenever it wasn't Halloween, I stored it under my bed, and I was fucking terrified of it. Little child me was... Whenever I even thought of it being under my bed, it freaked me the fuck out. It gave me nightmares a few times. I think I had a nightmare once of it eating me or something.
A hand eating you. That makes sense.
Yes. It had a mouth in the palm. Also, I'm pretty sure it grew spider legs in the dream as well. It's been a while.
Okay, I actually kind of want to draw a monster like that.
Okay, Little House of Horrors. Calm down.
No.
Yeah, it was just a little freaking plastic Halloween prop, but in the dream I vaguely, very vaguely remember having, it's one of the few dreams I remember having back when I was that age. It kind of became oversized, grew spider legs, and a mouth in its palm, and ate me. I was 8? So yeah.
The imagination of a child is a freaky place.
And if we're talking about dreams, there was another really weird nightmare I had that was also one of my first experiences with lucid dreaming.
Oh, God.
I've never managed to lucid dream.
I have on a few occasions. It's always amazing. Most of the time nowadays, when I realize I'm dreaming it, I cannot maintain the dream. I wake up even if it's still in the middle of the night. That's really annoying. I was fuck, I was almost so close to lucid dreaming.
So close to lucid dreaming, so I could spend time with Best Pony.
Lol.
The closest I've got to that is a non-lucid dream. God damn it. But yeah, it was from what I remember of this dream. It was mostly spurred on by. Once again, I was probably like 7 or 8. I've been 7, 8, or 9. It's one of those 3. I've been watching my brother play an old game, namely Resident Evil. No, not Resident Evil. Silent Hill 4: The Room. And like one of the earliest enemies you find is this creepy freaking zombie thing that crawls out of a seemingly solid wall and like floats towards you demonically and can't be killed. You have to like stake it to trap it to the ground. Like nowadays, I wouldn't fucking flinch at that. I shoot those for breakfast. But back to my little single-digit age self, that was the freaking most worst thing I've ever seen. So I'm pretty sure at one point I had a dream about that where I had like one crawling out of a wall. For some reason, Captain Jack Harkness was in it, and he got killed by one.
Did he get back
Did he
up?
come back?
I don't know because I ran away.
Smart move.
Yeah, it was in a house. There was some stuff before that, like in the lead up to that, though I don't remember what that was. And like I remember vaguely from there, it was sort of a zombie apocalypse generic kind of situation.
Okay.
But there came a point in this dream where I kind of realized it was a dream. I was like, "Oh, this is a dream." So, being a kid who plays Halo, I decided I have 2 SMGs now, and then I did. So I proceeded to shoot all the zombies there. I then proceeded to my old scouts cabin, which was now there for some reason, because I used to do scouts and stuff. We then got on broomsticks and Harry Potter, flew up into the sky, boarded this airship from this old 3D animated kids show I watched back in the day. I then spawned a team of Bionicles to go and shoot the guy that had created the zombies.
My God, Tom.
Children, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing since bread, and the worst thing since God.
That was another completely unrelated dream I remember having where there was a pirate captain. He told me I was dreaming. I didn't believe him.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. I've seen that was my brain telling me you're being stupid. This is dreaming. Wake up.
Anyway.
Having a dream, mate.
All right.
Have you ever had? Speaking, I've had obviously nightmares where I wasn't lucid dreaming. It was terrifying during that age. You ever had those dreams where you try and run but you can't? Everything goes in slow motion aside from the thing chasing you.
Yeah, it's like where your legs feel really, really heavy, and you just can't seem to get them to move.
that kind of thing.
I know that feeling. The problem, of course, is that every time I happen to have that sensation, it's not that I'm trying to run away from a monster. I'm trying to run away from police officers.
Why were the police chasing you, might I ask?
It's tone.
They felt like it. They felt like it.
Hmm.
That's pretty much the extent of it.
I'm pretty sure you did something to deserve it.
Yes.
No, I did not.
That's such a weird
of,
thing to dream about.
dream about sounded like-
Being chased and arrested by the
Oh
cops.
no.
Yeah.
I've got it.
They skipped arrest and just went straight for the batons. Anyway.
No, Tom, it's
Yeah.
perfect. I know why they were chasing him.
They knew he'd be coming on Atasa Master. Yes.
No,
No,
what
because they
about-
knew that he'd killed Celestia.
this was long before that. Anyway, so
Yeah.
darkness.
One more before we get to that.
Oh, okay.
Like I've had those kind of dreams where I was kind of like saying running down a corridor in my old house and it seemed to get longer. I was going slower. But have any of you had a dream, Inception style, where you think you wake up, you're in your room after a nightmare? There was a dream where I was being chased by like a mummy thing. Once again, I was in my single digits.
Dreaming inside of a dream.
It was one of those that started off where the corridor was kind of elongating. I was running slowly, but I still managed to get away from it. I stayed in my brother's room for a while until things calmed down, and then tried to leave the house. And the thing jumped out at me as I left the front door. Then I thought I woke because I shot up in my bed. I was in my bedroom. It was pitch black. Everything seemed absolutely fine. So I laid down, my eyes open, trying to calm myself down. After a few moments of that, my door swings open and the fucking monster comes in again.
It's like, hey, bitch, we're not done yet.
then I wake up.
for 4 more hours.
Then I wake up for real, but I don't trust it, so I turn the light on and get up.
But I don't trust it.
Yeah,
I think the weirdest dreams I
I've
have
had
is
those.
when.
I've actually had one of those.
Yeah.
But we're not supposed
Instead
to
of a
have-
monster, it was zombies, though.
Hmm.
zombies technically a monsters.
I remember a lot more dreams from my childhood than I do of recent ones. Nowadays, I just get recollections, like very vague feelings of what they were.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
Darkness, your Halloween story. Is your voice working yet?
Yeah, is it sounding better?
Don't know. You'll have to talk for more than 2 seconds at a time.
All right, I think it's better now because I put my Steam on pause, and it seems I can hear you better, so I think it's better for me as well.
All right,
Mm.
go for it then. Regale us with your story of spooks and scares and skeletons.
Of course. Well, this is more like a bit of a Halloween prank on someone, but it was funny. The day I went to Kevin and Matt's house, which is two of my best friends of all time, even though Kevin has a habit of stuff, which I won't say. It's his own little thing. But anyway,
It's a machine
They
that goes
invited me-
ding. Ding when there's stuff.
but yeah, Kevin invited me round because he wanted to play a game, but then he thought all three of us play it since it's Halloween, and he just thinks to have some fun with this because there's going to be a lot of deaths involved. And I thought, is it going to be Dark Souls? But no, it was actually freaking. I was kind of close, I suppose. It was Dead Space, the first one.
No.
Oh, hang on a moment.
It's even worse than Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Hello, hang on a second.
Because everyone calls Dead Space scary, but you get weapons, so I don't know how you can be scared in there.
Because the ammunition for those weapons extremely scarce, and
I
if
mean,
you
I-
waste it, you're fucked.
I played Dead Space 2, I got a shotgun, and then I was fine.
I mean, from
There's
the
a
start.
shotgun in Dead Space too.
Well, it's like a pseudo shotgun. It's a close range weapon that makes them go splat. Yes.
I mean, just from the start, pretty much. I mean, going slightly off tangent here, when I played Dead Space for the first time, I was scared as hell until I got the plasma cutter, and that was like 5 minutes after the first necromorph showed up. I picked that up, and immediately the fear factor went away, especially because it was written right up there, go for the limbs! If they hadn't told you what to aim for, then that would have been fine. But the fact that I had a viable means of defending myself and knew where to aim caused the whole fear factor to immediately melt away. And besides that, I was pretty confident in my melee abilities. Still
So
died.
wait, you were trying to slapstick necromorphs with your gun?
I mean, yeah, it worked. Oftentimes it was enough to get me enough space to either reload or it would kill them so I could then stomp them to death.
Wait, what difficulty are we playing on? I think that's a big factor too, because
I think
I can't slap necromorphs.
I think I was playing on normal, and there is a melee button.
No, I know. I'm just saying I can't slap them without them slapping me a lot harder.
I mean, I played on normal difficulty because I play for fun, not rage. So, and no, those two are not compatible. Don't even bother trying to tell me they are. They are intrinsically not.
If I really like the game, I'll play the game first on normal, and if I really like it, I'll try for the challenge on the highest difficulty. The only series I do that for is Halo, so I'm a big Halo fan. So
Anyways,
think,
we kind of
Halo
went off
5
on.
actually-
Anyways, we kind of went on a tangent there. Darkness, your story.
Oh, he said he'd be right back. He had to leave for a bit.
Oh,
Let's go to Blake.
Boy.
oh boy.
Do you have a Halloween story, Blank?
Yeah, I actually do. I was trying to wrap my brain because like the only one I could think of was this one time I went bowling, but then I remembered a much better story. I actually worked at a haunted house one time, and it was by far the greatest experience I ever had.
Oh yes.
So another thing I really got to put out there before I even get into this: if anyone ever goes to a haunted house this Halloween, please don't go out of your way to try to make fun of the people doing it, because it really sucks the fun out of the job. But anywho, I think the first thing I was doing, they put me and two of my friends in the clown room that had all the flashing strobe lights and whatnot. And oh my god, it's been like 5 years ago. I can't remember all of it, but just being able to scare people was by far the greatest thing. We had this one move where to paint the picture in my head. There was one corridor, but it had like 2 bends to it, so it'd make like a
kind of like a smooth zigzag.
Yeah, a real smooth zigzag. And we had it where we had my 2 friends at the very first stretch of it, and they would like spook them immediately, and they would like, yeah, they'd be scared at first, and then I kind of calmed down as I went down the rest of the way, and as they went through the second stretch of it, they'd get like calm sense of security. I just bang on the cardboard walls as I heard them going halfway through and just charge straight at them and screaming when they got to the third one. The best scare I ever got. This really large woman nearly like fell down and started screaming, "Oh Lord Jesus!"
He cannot hear you here. Pride
No,
doesn't help
so
that.
much
Pride doesn't
loud.
help that corpses don't have ears anymore. They decomposed a while ago.
Well, let's get aside of that. There was later that night I got moved to the chainsaw room with the doctors.
Oh
Oh
god.
god.
Ooh.
Doctors with chainsaws.
that was-
That sounds reckless.
That was by far the best part of that entire night, and it got really funny though because the chainsaw literally broke one time as I was charging at people. I was running up and like the blade, like it didn't have the actual chains around it, but the blade just kind of like fell to the ground and like skidded to their feet and just kind of looked at me, and I looked at them. It's like, eh. Go along, nothing to see here.
Go along.
Nothing
Nothing
to
to see
see.
here. I can't kill you anymore.
But yeah, haunted house is not a place where you need to. Well, that's kind of embarrassing. I probably shouldn't say that. We can go somewhere else.
No, please. This is
The haunted
comedy.
house. Haunted houses are awesome.
Question: when signing up for haunted houses, are you allowed to choose your own costume?
Most of the time, yeah.
Depends. It's
Well,
more of
honestly,
like
yeah, it
where
honestly
they
really
need you.
depends.
Because I mean, like, I like the idea of going with my own costume to one of those things. So, like, if ever I somehow managed to assemble the pieces to make like the grunt from Amnesia: The Dark Descent as a costume, I'd want to go as that.
Oh no, they're probably gonna give you their stuff, unless like you get approved by them or something.
I worked in
I don't know.
one. I would say I worked in one once. They let me dress up as Jason. I'd just be standing at the end of the hallway in a hockey mask and a fake machete, and they would all just stop, and then I would just walk away. It's like, oh.
Neat. Nice. Darkness, you back yet?
Nope, he's still muted.
We could relegate his story
We
to
got-
the impromptu section, and instead
Right.
proceed to next topic.
Which is
Ours.
yes,
All right.
because it's 4:40 and we've got 20 minutes left.
23 roundabouts, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm going by how long the video is, not the time on the
I'm-
clock. And
I'm about to say we started a bit late.
Yeah, we were going
Right.
for about 38 minutes and 7 seconds. So, all right,
All
all
right.
right.
So who wants to start, guys?
Well, first of all, let me introduce the topic. As some of you in the audience may know, Fallout 76, the pretty polarizing game by Bethesda Game Studios, has recently had its first couple of beta test hours. I personally am not taking part in the beta, largely because I don't believe in pre-orders, and pre-ordering the game is a requirement to get into the beta. But that's beside the point. Some of the people in here, namely Soviet, Hades, and Tom, did get into the beta, and they played together, and they're going to go ahead and share some of their stories from that experience with us right now. So, Tom, Soviet, Hades, take it away.
I've also, if you ever want to add them into the video, I did add like a bunch of pictures into the Discord chat.
Yes, a bunch of our
Yeah.
a bunch of his screen caps and uses of the game's photo mode.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
make
first-
Too
The
much of a,
first
too
two
much of a hassle
are,
to try and set that up live, so I'll abstain from doing that.
Alright, well, I can describe them, I suppose. But let's see, in the first two, basically, the first one is me standing next to a super mutant. The first two are me solo without the other two. This was on the original beta test. The senior's name is Graham. He was a trader I encountered who likes reading poetry about smashing humans into bloody little giblets.
And then he didn't
was
smash you
fun.
into bloody little giblets.
No, he just reads poetry about it, then sold me some shit. He was a nice super mutant.
I want to meet this guy.
He's a random
Yay.
encounter. And the second one is just me outside my new shack in the middle of the woods. My cabin in the woods, you might say. Totally not at all suspicious. Come on, little children.
Cabin in the Woods, basically the SCP Foundation.
Yes, but evil.
And also a stealth prequel to Attack on Titan.
Out of curiosity, Tom, can you build traps in there?
Yes, but I don't have schematics or the materials to do that yet. But, yeah, and obviously the picture after that is where I'm with Soviet and Hades. So...
And
Yes.
Yes, the story before the third one, was me and Tom were kind of dicking around outside the vault waiting for Hades to finish his character and exit because he didn't get to participate in the first beta test. And then, you know, he emerged as a fresh level 2 character while I was a level 9 at this point and Tom was a level 5 or 6.
6.
And we basically let Hades away, and so he led us down a hill to this little shack, and the shack had these 2 seats that had instruments there for you to play, so we all gathered up.
Yes.
I took a mouth harp,
that's me on
Hades took the banjo, and Tom just stood there.
And I took the picture, obviously. Like,
Yes.
heroic pose. Like Buzz Lightyear
I'm
style.
so freaking sorry.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Just as a heads up, Darkness, due to the fact that you were gone and time constraints, we've had to
I
bump your
know.
story to improv, so...
That's alright.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, hey-
a lovely little picture with me on the banjo and Soviet on the mouth
Oh,
harp.
Oh yeah, I see it. Nice.
Remember, people, if you hear the sound of twin banjos, run the other way.
Yeah. So this was the start of adventure of us being like armed to the teeth with weapons we'd found and armor, and our little baby Hades here, naked, almost naked with but a knee pad and a machete. Unless you do
armed
the
to
blind
the
pistol.
teeth. What does that include?
I had a 44 caliber pistol and a hunting rifle as well as 10mm pistol. I've since added a shotgun to that.
Soviet had like a shotgun.
I had a pump
rifle.
action shotgun, Bowie knife, a hatchet, a sniper rifle, and I believe a 10mm as well as 44 Magnum. At this point,
They had all the fun stuff. Considering I wasn't able to go into the first beta due to class, it was kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I went and shot a few people and stole their weapons. Not players, but like school and various enemies around. But yeah, from there, well, we went on an explore because Hades would eventually go over to the town of Flatwoods to do the first bit of main questing, though I kind of wanted to like catch up with us, though we weren't really progressing the main quest past that because, well, I for one kind of want to do the main story solo. Like, so Hades just led the way in a random direction to go and explore and see what he could scavenge to not be so much of a scrub. Which included an old farmhouse where he encountered his first Scorched, which he only heard and didn't see because I chopped its head off with a machete. He eventually got attacked by a giant tick that tried to suck his blood out. He managed to kill that one.
I want to suck your blood. Ah.
And when we say giant tick, like this thing was like the size of a small dog.
yeah, very unpleasant things to find.
I
Because
shivered the
normal
first time I
ticks
saw
are-
one.
You know, normal ticks are
Like the
already a
size-
problem as is.
Yeah,
Like,
that
they're not very big at
Yeah,
all. These
It's
things-
nothing compared to the mutant toad, though. Holy fuck! But we'll get to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
later.
Oh boy.
We found
Ticks
one of
better
those.
stay the fuck away from my
So
dog.
many eyes. But yeah,
we
from
found-
there.
All the eyes.
Oh yeah, it's from there. Well, we eventually went to the town of Flatwoods where Hades had to go after he managed to get some stuff, and I did we lead the way? No, we didn't. So he came there. Me and Spooky Soviet here continued onwards onto adventure. I led him first to my little shack in the woods where we pulled our resources to help get new workbenches and upgrade our gear. This is where I got my shotgun during this time, and propped up my armor a little bit. Since those 2 hours were quickly coming to an end, we decided to spend the rest of it crossing like a massive freaking bridge over flatwoods that I've been really wanting to check out because it was giant and it looked awesome. So we hopped down there. There was a lot of feral ghouls in the way, which we shot quick. We found a crushed skeleton beneath a bunch of concrete with a lunchbox with a key. The key was to a door we found at the other end of the bridge that we couldn't lockpick because we're noobs.
Retarded.
Yeah, I have lockpick too now, so I could have done it. But yeah,
but we had the key.
Yeah, we opened the key. It was just a bunch of junk in there, and a holotape saying how this guy called Carl had a friend who was using the place as almost like an impromptu spy safe house kind of thing. Unfortunately, we then realized, since it said in the holotape that he was going to take the key with him, we realized the skeleton we found was Carl. He had a crushing blow to the apocalypse.
Yeah, but we decided to continue on the opposite end of the bridge to see what was at the other side, and so
I made it.
You shut your mouth.
I will not.
But,
basically, we got halfway across the bridge, and I was fighting just some feral ghouls, and then I heard a shout. I turn around, where's Soviet gone? He's not here anymore. I looked down, oh, there's his body splattered on the rocks.
Oh, he fell and died?
I fell, and I was in the game's critical state, which is where you can be revived, and I asked him to revive me. He's like, how do you expect me to get down there?
And not during your fate. So he died. He just left. I continued all the way to the end, got the map mark, and got some loot. At which point the server was closing down, so we went back to my camp and waited out there until. During a whole escapade on the bridge, though, brings us to the next picture, which is a greetings. Greetings from West Virginia, which is I'm just playing a banjo on the edge of the bridge while he holds a shotgun to the back of my, which we found rather amusing.
You left me to die, motherfucker.
Yeah.
No. That's just some random fucking crack addict from the woods. Hey, kid, you want to buy some meth?
Oh, God.
Oh, now I know you're playing me. And I do.
Well, there isn't any Jax. Doesn't exist yet.
No.
The first half an hour of today's session, I wasn't involved in because of daylight savings. And I got my timing. So these two were playing originally, and they had a rather spooky encounter for Halloween.
Oh, yes.
Apparently we found Mothman because we were I was trying to drag Hades to a installation called Camp McClintock so that he could do a series of quests where you basically join the army but not really. And on the way up the mountain towards the camp, I paused and pulled out a gun because all I saw was this red light and then a black plume of smoke launch itself into the air at terminal velocity. And Hades like, what happened? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but there's some devil worship on this mountain.
It was the funniest thing. He recorded that and he showed it to me later. And I saw the light that he saw. It's two glowing red eyes. And then by the time he gets his gun out and turns around, you see this big poof of smoke and what sounds like wing flaps.
I searched up afterwards, after you showed me that clip, to see what it was. It was basically Mothman's enlarged head looking at you from the shadows and then disappearing into the shadows Sombra style.
Yep.
So
Mothman.
He's stalking you, ready to jump you at some point, so be careful for a boss fight.
Mothman is the big one, right?
Mothman
one of them. There's also
the biggest one that they.
There's also the Wendigos, the Grafton monster,
Flatwoods monster. Yeah,
there are a couple.
There are a bunch of all the West Virginian urban legends are in there.
Yeah.
Also aliens somewhere inevitably, and probably a Lovecraftian god as well, because Dunwich.
Of course, there's aliens. It's Fallout. We have to have the alien blaster.
The Zadans.
I won that blaster.
you can't have a Fallout game without the alien blaster.
I have a feeling that the crashed satellite station thing is going to have something to do with the Zaydens later on.
As
Whether
far
that
as I
be
know,
an
where it
event or
doesn't,
whatever.
the crashed satellite is actually a bomb station, which was one of the key plot points for the cancelled Fallout 3 by Black Isle Studios. They added it into
Project
it.
Van Buren.
Yeah, it's like a bomb station. Like one of them, basically in the story of that, it said that one of them crashed after the war, and basically that's what we see in the game.
Yep.
So it's kind of somewhat canonizes Van Buren.
But before we end our little Fallout deal, the last picture was
Second
a
to
nice
last.
little surprise.
So, Brian, do you remember the Death Altar that we found in Twilight's basement?
Yes, I do remember, and I see you found a similarly spooky death altar in some poor bastard's attic.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't an attic. Basically, after
found
I
a suicide
joined,
death
yeah, I'm getting that. We basically, after I joined, we went on more wasteland adventures. We crossed the bridge. Hades fell to his death this time. Ice didn't. I'm amazing. I know.
Next time it's
From
going to be
there,
you.
we explored like this old ice cream parlor, got some stuff. We went to this teacup little building where we got side quests to defend it from some creatures trying to destroy the generators, which is where we met the giant mutant frog with many eyes. That was freaking terrifying. There was also this like Creamsworth or something. I can't remember his name.
Sweetwater.
Sweetwater. Yeah, he's freaking Creamsworth. But yeah, this little really oddly small Mr. Handy that wanted us to get some honey for him so he'd make tea for him. These two would not stop making British references to me.
I'm about to say, we got him tea.
You see, I was so excited.
It was honey tea. It's blasphemy tea.
I was so excited when we came across the giant teapot because I remember shouting, "Oh, it's a giant tea kettle!" when I saw it, and then I promptly made the joke right after of, "Hey Tom, we found your house."
Fuck you.
Isn't that like horribly racist or something?
The tea, it wasn't even
Very
called tea, that it was all fruity flavored.
Stereotype.
It was horrible tea. But yeah. So we did some side questing around there. Soviet started making a trading outpost, like a shop, because he wants to be a trader. I went back to my base. I made the defense turret, start adding a wall around it to help keep out like stray dogs and shit. Because two tried to jump me in my own house, and my turret chewed them up. 3 dogs jumped me, tried to eat me, but my machine gun turret killed them before I could even put my gun.
I thought even the DJ attacked you.
No, he's not alive yet. This is 25 years after the war. But yeah, we went to just like this old watchtower place where we managed to get a few map locations, and then wandered off towards an old cemetery we had appeared on the map because it was on the way to this like shoreline location we wanted to go to, and we thought, oh, it's cemetery, might be some interesting stuff there. On arriving, it was full of feral ghouls, which we figured it would be. But we went inside the church next to the
Graveyard.
cemetery. Yeah. First thing we notice is that every single pew is filled to the brim with skeletons. At first, I just think that, oh, these are the people who during the last day were praying for deliverance and obviously died to radiation or the blast of fire or whatever. Then we start noticing the rat poison all over and the strange totem poles in the church. Like, things are not quite right. So we go upstairs, and then there's a giant death altar thing with a like demonic candle circle around it with a stake sticking up on the ground with a dead guy impaled on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Sounds
some
like a boss
demonic
fight
bullshit
ready to
going on
happen.
here.
I want to say Tom has a habit of finding death altars in games.
Yeah, like, there's some serious devil worship going on in this apparently House of the Lord. Good God. Like, some real bad stuff happened here.
It's ironic.
So we got the fuck out after that, and the server was closing, which led us to our final picture where, like, us in our new armor, Hades in his EMT outfit. We headed back to my camp, sat around a fire, I took a snapshot, basically sang Kumbaya while waiting for the server destroy itself.
Die.
Yeah, it's
So
been an interesting.
So, out of curiosity for the game, is there a single player for it, or?
Oh yeah,
No, everything is online, but you can play by yourself. There is no solo in the traditional sense. When you log into the game, you are forced onto a server filled with players, but you can play by yourself. You don't have to have your friends with you. And in order to stop actions like getting griefed by players for solo, there is a button that allows you to block everyone who is not in your party on the session for that session, so that they can't engage you in PvP and you no longer show up on their map.
So it's
Also,
100%
if you-
online.
Also, if they shoot you, they do fuck all damage unless you shoot them back.
It basically means they're challenging you to PvP, and you can accept
Yeah.
or decline.
Me and Soviet accidentally did that because I went to VATS to try and shoot a blood bug, and it went on him, and I shot him in the back. And then later on, we're trying to shoot a ghoul. He shot me in the back, and that started a challenge against us.
Whoops.
Yeah, but it didn't end. It didn't go much further than that because that's when he fell off a bridge.
He
I
won. Considered him a winner by forfeit, meaning forfeit being me falling off a bridge trying to get loot.
And dying.
Because
So
I'm
technically,
a fall out.
I won. So
You didn't, though.
By
I don't have a
by
challenge.
technicality, he won. By practicality, there wasn't a winner. There were just
I
a
got
couple
8
losers.
caps from your death. So you know.
You stole my money and I want it back.
You shouldn't have started challenging me then.
Quick.
But that's the gist
he's
of our
stretching again.
adventures so far.
So, well, we've only got like 4 minutes left. 3 actually. Now that I think about it, I don't think we actually have time to go into a Ben story, if that be the case.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not really a long one. It's just a little addition I do every freaking Halloween.
All right,
Well,
just tear it quickly. Go, 3 minutes,
Okay.
go.
All right. Every edition, I basically dress up as the most horrifying thing and scare the crap out of Ben. And gullible as he is, he thinks that all will. I dressed up as Freddy Krueger. I dressed up as freaking Jackson, Michael Myers, and a few other things I come up
Did you ever dress as a xenomorph?
with now.
That'll be difficult.
That was probably the most trickiest one. So instead,
You did.
Go on.
yeah, but I found a way. It's more like a little bit of a mechanical puppet, I say. It's very effective, though.
Go on.
Okay. And the way I did it, I had to think, if I'm doing a xenomorph, I need to do
You're cutting out again.
this be play. Well, it's not Steam. God damn it.
I
Just the inventors.
I can be satisfied with the fact that you did a xenomorph thing on Ben and he thought it was real.
Yeah, I put it in his bedroom.
You put it in his bedroom? Oh, shit.
Have you ever seen those like those mannequins in a like Halloween shops that when you go near them they're activated by motion and they freaking jump out and you're just watching and you see like a kid or something go by them and just the sheer terror that brings sadistic amount of joy to your heart.
And the way I got away with it, it was only him and his brother.
It's only him and his brother.
Parents got yeah, his brother just like, come on in, scare the crap out of my brother. I don't care. I'm gonna laugh my head off. All right, but don't give the game away. I don't want him to know.
Neat.
So, at the end of his bed, is moving slowly towards him, and just waiting for the moment he wakes up to realize it's coming closer to him. And when he did, it was right by him. He slid out the door, out the bedroom, fell down the stairs, then got back up, proceeded to run outside.
How big was this fake xenomorph?
Try to make it possible.
What? What?
I made
How
it
big?
full size. It's about Well, picture the one in the first movie. It's about that big.
Oh, so
How
full
fucking
size.
expensive was that? Also, we can't hear you.
Stock and supplies.
Yeah, you keep
What?
cutting out. We couldn't hear a word you said.
God damn it. You can thank Kevin for basically giving me some supplies to make it.
Oh, you made it. Oh, impressive.
Hmm.
How long did it take?
About a few days, but it was worth it.
For
Nice. Well, with that, it is time for us to end this episode of Jibber Jabber. We'll see you again after Halloween, ladies and gentlemen, and we hope you enjoy your nights of scares and spooks and scary skeletons. So, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.
Have a
fun now.
very spooky night.
I am sad for the
spooky,
ending.
scary skeleton.
Dude, come on,
Oh,
let me finish my outro. Jesus.
You did
Aw.
finish your outro.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry.
I have my catchphrase, you dipshit. Jesus.
Quick, cut the episode.
No, I'm finishing this shit, damn it. So, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed, and as always, keep listening. You never know when a monster might be stalking you. Bye, guys.
Spooky skeleton.
Bye for my glitchy voice.
You see what I got
We're
out of that with?
horrible.
I'm sad because after Wednesday, I have to retire the name Spoopy Soviet and get rid of the dabbing skeleton as my profile.
Oh,
And
jeez.
this is what I have to put up with.